class. So we are now on the chapter 2, developing and implementing strategic HRM plans. Okay. This is the story of James, class. So si James, he stumbled into his position as the human resource manager. He had been working for Techno Inc. for 3 years, and when the company grew, James moved from a management position into a human resource management position. Techno Inc. is a technology and software consulting company for the music industry. James didn't have a good handle on how to effectively run a human resources department. So much of the time, he tried to figure it out as he went. So wala siyang experience kasi nga galing siya sa management position. Kasi ito, human resource management. When Techno started seeing rapid growth, he hired 30 people within a 1-month period to meet the demand. Masyado siya naging excited. Nag-hire siya na nag-hire. Proud of his ability to accomplish his task of meeting the business current needs, James was rather pleased with himself. He had spent numerous hours mulling over recruitment strategies, putting together excellent compensation plans, and then eventually sifting through resumes as a small part of the hiring process. Now, the organization had the right number of people needed to carry out its projects. Fast forward 5 months, however, and it turned out the rapid growth was only temporary. James met with the executives of the business who told him the contracts they had acquired were finished and there wasn't enough new work coming in to make payroll next month if they didn't let some people go. James felt frustrated because he had gone through so much effort to hire people and now they would be laid off. So matatanggalan na sila ng trabaho. Never mind the costs of hiring and training his department had taken on to make this happen. As James sat with the executives to determine who should be laid off, he felt sad for the people who had given up other jobs just 5 months before, only to be laid off. After the meeting, James reflected on this situation and realized that if he had spoken with the executives of the company sooner, they would have shared information on the duration of the contracts, and he likely would have hired people differently. So sana contract basis na lang rather than on a full-time basis. He also considered the fact that the organization could have hired an outsourcing company to recruit workers for him. As Jason mulled this over, he realized that he needed a strategic plan to make sure his department was meeting the needs of the organization. He vowed to work with the company executives to find out more about the company's strategic plan and then develop a human resource management strategic plan to make sure Techno Inc. has the right number of workers with the right skill at the right time in the future. So what went wrong with James? So anong nangyari? Hindi niya isinama ang upper management or ang executives sa planning. So nag-draw na siya ng plan without involving the other department, the other managers. So what happened? Hindi niya alam na contractual lang pala yung trabaho, no? Temporary lang siya. So, yun yung naging mali ni James. So, that topic is all about the story of James. Okay, so, ayan. The human resource management before was called the personal department. So, this topic is about developing and implementing strategic HRM plans. So before class, human resource management was called the personnel department. So they only hire people. No, they only deal with the hiring paperwork and processes. And during that time, no, uh, it is believed that the first human resource department was created in 1901 by the National Cash Register, or NCR. So the company that time faced a major strike, but eventually defeated the union after a lockout. After this difficult battle, the company president decided to improve worker relations by organizing a personal department to handle grievances, discharges, safety concerns, and other employee issues. Okay, so the department also kept track of new legislation surrounding laws impacting the organization. And many other companies that time were coming to the same realization that a department was necessary to create employee satisfaction, which resulted in more profitability. In 1913, ayan, si Henry Ford, he saw an employee turnover rate at 380%. That's too high, and tried to ease the turnover by increasing wages from 2.5 to $5. Although the time $2.5 is fair enough, no? So of course, yung approach na yon na pagtataas ng wage ay hindi nag-work, and these large companies began to understand that they had to do more than hire and fire if they're going to meet customer demand. So yan lang ang trabaho natin ng personal department: mag-hire, maggawa ng mga paperworks, magproseso, no? So mag-keep, no, ng file ng mga employees. Okay, so more recently, however, the personal department has divided into human resource department and human resource development. So these functions have evolved over the century. So HRM is not only crucial to an organization's success, but it should be part of the overall company's strategic plan. So hindi na sila yung parang part lang ng pag-hire ng mga ng mga employees or applicants, but they should be part of the company's overall, as in lahat, no, overall strategic plan. Because so many businesses today, they depend on people to earn profits. Kasi employees, they are the lifeblood of the company. They are the ones who bring a lot of contributions for the company and profit, no? And that's how strategic planning plays an important role in the productivity of the organization. Okay, so ito class yung differences ng personal management and HRM. So ang focus ng personal management is only administering of policies, creating standalone programs such as training, and they are responsible for managing people, and they create cost within an organization. Sa HRM focus naman, yan, no. So makikita yung difference ng dalawa. So HRM focus, they help to achieve strategic goals through their people. Yung kanilang training programs are anchored to the company's mission and values. Line managers, they share joint responsibility in all areas. In all areas of people hiring and management, and hindi sila nakaka-create ng cost, but rather contributes to the profit objectives of the organization. So duties of HR. So most people agree that following duties fall under HRM. So each of these aspects has its own part within the overall strategic plan of the organization. First is the staffing. So staffing, you have to determine how many people you might need to hire. So based on the strategic plan, HRM then performs the hiring process to recruit and select the right people for the right job. So, you will always base doon sa strategic plan. No, para malaman kung tama ba yung i-hire, kung paano yung hiring process na gagawin, and kung sinong tamang tao ang pipiliin para sa tamang posisyon o trabaho. Then, basic workplace policies. Of course, you have to develop policies to help reach the strategic plan's goals is also the part or the job of HRM. After policies have been developed, communication of these policies on safety, security, scheduling, vacation times, etc. Of the employees should be developed by the HR department. Of course, HR managers should work closely with the supervisors in organizations to develop these policies. Kailangan meron pa rin insights coming from the supervisors or the upper management. Yan, compensation and benefits in addition to paycheck, ayan, mga retirement plans, health benefits, retention. So, yan yung isa sa mga sinagot ninyo sa activity, no? Isa yan sa mga sa pinakamahirap or rather the most challenging duty of an HR, retention of employees. So, assessment of employees, and you have to strategize on how to retain the best employee is a task that HR managers oversee. Okay, but other managers in the organization will also provide input. And then training and development. Of course, before deploying this employees to their respective jobs, they have to be well equipped. No, they have to be trained. No, para mas sila, no, mas alam nila yung gagawin nila once they're out of the training, you know. So, determination of training needs and development and implementation of training programs are important tasks in any organization. And of course, regulatory issues and worker safety, keeping up to date on the new regulations relating to employment, healthcare, and other issues is generally a responsibility that falls on the HRM department. Okay, sa naman class, so sa mga smaller organizations, so like kung mini business yung itinayo, ang owner is most likely to perform the HRM functions. No? So, sila yung mag-hire, sila yung mag-train, sila yung magdi-determine kung magkano ang dapat na ibabayad. Larger company, no, they ultimately perform, but it is with the help of this specialist or human resource managers to handle these areas of the business. So, kung ikaw ay may negosyo at kailangan mo ng tao, ikaw na ang gagawa ng function ng HR. Okay, so you have to understand the strategic components of HRM, no? Yan. HRM versus personal management. Okay, so human resource strategy is an elaborate and systematic plan of action developed by the human resource department. So this definition, it tells us that an HR strategy includes detailed pathways to implement strategic plans and HR plans. So when you say strategic plans class, these are the major objectives that the organization wants to achieve. Yung HR plan naman, these are the specific activities carried out to achieve the strategic plan. So, in other words, no, so yung strategic plan, ito yung ating mga long-term goals, no, ito yung may direction ka, no, may kapupuntahan ka, may kapupuntahan yung mga plano mo. While yung HR plan, these are short-term objectives that are tied to the overall strategic plan. So, kailangan naka-align lahat. Kung ano yung strategic plan mo, yung daily activities mo, or yung day-to-day objectives, mga short-term objectives, naka-anchor siya or naka-align siya dun sa overall strategic plan. So companies now understand that the human side of the business is the most important asset. So unlike before, ngayon nakikita na ng mga kumpanya ang importance or significance ng mga empleyado sa kanilang business. Especially in this global economy that the competition ngayon is very very high. We can see businesses everywhere. So they have to hire really qualified candidates that can help their companies achieve its goals, stand out from the market or from the competition. Okay, so this is we have the Ulrich model. So the Ulrich model, it is a way to look at the HRM strategic plan. So it provides an overall view of the role of HRM in the organization. So ang sabi yung model daw ni Ulrich is said to have started the movement that changed the view of HR. That the HR is no longer merely a functional area. Parang sila yung nakaseparate na department at ito yung kanilang function, ito yung kanilang ginagawa lang. So, si HR ngayon, naging partner na siya. No? Naging partner na siya with the other departments within the organization. Okay, so let us look at the 5 main areas of HR. Yung model ni Ulrich model. So, strategic partner. So, syempre, since HR, nasabi ko nga kanina, it's a partnership with the entire organization para ma-ensure yung alignment ng HR function sa needs ng organization. And change agent, syempre, being an HR, kailangan meron kang skill to anticipate and respond to changes within the HR. Not only with the HR function within the HR department, but as a whole, the company as a whole, So, ayan. And administrative expert and functional expert, so you have this ability to understand and implement policies, procedures, and processes. And then, human capital developer, it means you develop talent that is projected to be needed in the future. And employee advocate, you work for employees currently within the organization. So, according to Ulrich, the implementation of this model must happen with an understanding of the overall company objectives, problems, challenges, and opportunities. So, for example, the HR professional must understand the dynamic nature of the HRM environment, para sa marketing, So, changes in marketing environment, HR, changes in labor, markets, company culture, and values, customers, shareholders, and the economy. Okay, so once this occurs, HR can determine how best to meet the needs of the organization within these 5 main areas. So, ito yung Ulrich model, the strategic partner, the change agent, administrative expert, and employee champion. So these are the dynamic external environment that can affect the function or role of HR. So ito yung kanina. So these are just examples, Okay. HRM as a strategic component of a business. Okay. So, yung model kanina, so the Ulrich model, it discusses the importance of bringing HR to the table in strategic planning. Okay. So, keeping this model in mind, we have to consider these 4 aspects when creating a good HRM strategic plan. So, first, make it applicable. Okay? Often people spend an inordinate amount of time developing plans, but the plans just sit in a file somewhere, and are never actually used. A good strategic plan should be the guiding principles for the HRM function. Okay, so it should be reviewed and changed as aspects of the business change. Involvement of all the members in the HR department, if it is a larger department, And communication is important also, no? A communication among everyone within the department will make the plan better. And be a strategic plan partner. So again, alignment of the corporate values in the HRM strategic plan should be a major objective of the plan. No? So in addition, the HRM strategic plan should be aligned with the mission and objectives of the organization as a whole. So for example, if the mission of the organization is to promote social responsibility, then the HRM strategic plan should address this in the hiring criteria. So involve people. So again, no, you should not do this alone. HR department should not do this alone. So it should involve everyone in the organization. Okay, so for example, no, if the plan starts to develop, the HR manager should meet with various people in departments and find out what skills the best employees have. No, then the HR manager can make sure the people recruited and interviewed have similar qualities as the best people already doing in the job. Okay, so and of course you have to meet with the different managers from the different department, because they do the, let's say for example, the financial, who does the budgeting, so they can also determine human resource needs and recruit the right number of people at the right time, and understand how technology can be used. So ngayon, there are organizations that do not just have the money or the inclination to the different research software, no, and they rather find budget-friendly options for implementation. So, and also, people are sometimes nervous about new technology. So, however, no, the best organizations are those that embrace technology, no? So, and find the right technology used for their businesses. Okay, so actually, napakaraming software na ginagamit ng mga companies na yan para mas papabilis yung proseso. Okay, so HR managers know the business and therefore know the needs of the business and can develop a plan to meet those needs. Now, they also stay on top of current events, so they know what is happening globally that could affect their strategic plan. If they find out, for example, that an economic downturn is looming, then they have to adjust their strategic plan. Okay, so yung strategic plan, it needs to be a living document. Okay, ito ang strategic plan, nagbabago as the business and the world also changes. Okay, so kailangan, pag may bago sa economy, nagbagong ekonomiya, ang negosyo, no, kailangan i-adjust ang strategic plan. Okay, the steps to strategic plan creation. Okay. So, tandaan class, no, ang HRM strategic plan is different from the HR plan. So, yung HRM strategic plan, these are the major objectives, no, pang long term ito, na gustong i-achieve ng organization, okay, na naka-align doon ang HRM strategic plan, while yung HR plan naman, it consists of the detailed plans, no, para ma-ensure na yung strategic plan ay unti-unting na-accomplish. Okay. So, the first step is to creating strategic plan is conduct a strategic analysis. Okay, so the strategic analysis looks at these three aspects of the individual HRM department. First is the understanding of the company mission and values. Okay, so hindi mo pwedeng iplano ang HRM strategic plan if hindi mo alam kung ano yung values and mission ng isang organization. Okay, so again, should be aligned with the department objectives with the organization objectives. So it is worthwhile to sit down with a company executives management, and supervisors to make sure that they have a good understanding of the company mission and values, yung HR, no? So, another aspect is understanding. Another important aspect also is the understanding of the organizational life cycle. So, you may have heard this class, no, about this life cycle in marketing or other business classes, and this applies to HRM too. No? So, organizational life cycle, it refers to the introduction, growth, maturity, and decline of the organization, which can vary over time. Now, for example, when the organization first begins, it is in the introduction phase. And a different staffing, compensation, training, and labor-employee relations strategy may be necessary to align HRM with the organization's object, goals. No? So this might be opposed to an organization that is struggling to stay with the business and it is in the declining phase. Okay, so ayun yung sa organizational life cycle. And understanding of the HRM department mission and values. So HRM department must also develop their own departmental mission and values. So it should be the guiding principles for the department. Okay, so once na nagbago ang overall company's mission and values, dapat ma-adjust din yung sa HRM department. Okay. Syempre, understanding of the challenges facing the department. So, syempre, you as an HR, hindi naman natin maiiwasan yung mga changes, yung mga problems, no? Syempre, as an HR manager, you should know how to face and deal with those challenges, no? And better to be proactive. In that way, mas magiging effective at usable yung strategic plan at HR plan. So, ito yung class, no? Ito yung organizational life cycle. So, this is the table and for the organizational life cycle and also the strategy in each area, like in staffing, compensation, training, and development. So, what the company or an HR can do under each stage. Next step is identify strategic issues. So, in this step, the HRM professionals will analyze the challenges addressed in the first step. For example, the department may see that it is not strategically aligned with the company's mission and values and opt to make changes to its departmental mission and values as a result of this information. Okay, so many organizations ngayon and departments will use a SWOT analysis to determine some of the issues they are facing. Then once this analysis is performed, the HR can now align itself with the needs of the business by understanding the business strategy. So this is the example of the SWOT analysis of the Techno Inc. This is where James works, Techno Inc. So, limawa, ang strength nila is they hire talented people, the company is growing, those are the strength, yung palakasan ng kanilang each department, Weakness naman, so ayan, wala silang strategic plan, katulad na nangyari nga kay James, kaya nagkanda loko-loko na, ayan, and no planning, ayan, no formal training, and lack of software. Opportunity, ayan, so they have to develop, is it an opportunity yun, they have to develop strategic plan and HRM staffing plan to meet industry growth. Okay, so hindi yun isang opportunity kahit na nagkaroon ng failure sa part ni James, opportunity pa rin na sila ay magplano, magkaroon ng strategic plan. And threats, economy, and changing technology. Next step is prioritize issues and actions. So, for example, in here, if an organization identifies that they lack a comprehensive training program, plans should be developed that address this need. Okay, again, no, you have to involve the management and executives in the organization. You have to discuss with them, no, the other issues because they might see it differently than you, no, para magkakaiba sila. So at least they could work it out, no, that you can meet halfway. Okay, so again, you have to be aligned, no. HR department must be aligned with the entire organization para iisa yung direction na pinupuntahan nila. And of course, draw up an HRM plan. So pag okay na, nakipag-meeting na sa ang HR, sa executives and management, at nakapag-agree na sa mga priorities and mga issues, and then the plan is ready to develop. Okay, may mga companies that sometimes they have great strategic plan, but when it comes to the details na yung mga maliliit na plano, no, it can be difficult also to align the strategic plan with the more detailed plans. So an HR manager should always refer to the overall strategic plan before developing the HRM strategic plan and HR plans. And then writing the HRM plan. Iyan na yung kasunod, no? Writing the HRM plan. Okay. The writing of an HRM plan should be based on the strategic plans of the organization and of the department. Once the strategic plan is written, the HR professional can begin working on the HR plan. Okay? So this is the diagram. So this is the company strategic plan. So the HRM strategic plan must be aligned to the company strategic plan. The HR plan must be aligned to the HRM strategic plan. So the company strategic plan, this is the HRM strategic plan. So what are the steps? Ito yung na-discuss kanina. And HR plan, ito na yung i-discuss natin ngayon. Sige class, pinos ko saglit. Let's go back. Okay. The 6 parts of the HRM plan include the following. First is you determine the human resource needs. So, of course, ito yung medyo mabigat kasi aalamin mo muna kung ano yung kung kamusta na may current situation ng organization, no, do they expect a growth or decline, no, how will this impact the workforce, what is the economic situation, and what is the forecasted sales for next year. Okay, so pag na-identify na yan, no, then you determine the recruiting strategy. Okay, so it's necessary to write down a strategy addressing how you will recruit the right people. And then after knowing, no, the strategy on how you are going to recruit the right people, you select the employees. So it consists of the interviewing and the hiring process. And then once you have chosen the right people for the right job, you develop the training. Okay, so what are the training needs? No, ano ba yung kailangan matutunan, no, bago sila i-deploy? So kailangan ba ng product training? Kailangan ba ng mga personal skills training or personality development training? No, so yan, lahat yan kailangan ipasok sa pag-develop ng training program. And determine compensation. Yan, in the aspect of the HRM, the manager must determine pay scale. So, of course, kasama dyan yung mga bonus, healthcare, insurance, and other perks. And then, of course, the last is the appraisal, performance appraisal. So, after the employees stay with the company for 6 months, for example, i-rate na sila kung kamusta yung kanilang performance, or do they need to be improved, or kailangan ba nila ng again retraining or development. So yan, so ito balik tayo sa una, no. So the first part of an HR plan will consist of determining how many people are needed. So you should ask the following questions here. No, you can just read this one. Okay? So ayan yung mga questions na kailangan mo itanong as an HR bago ka pumunta sa next part or sa next step. Okay? So ito nga na-discuss na rin natin kanina, no? You should involve other department and the managers and executive para magkasundo kayo at alam nyo kung nasa pare-pares kayo ng estimation, or you can get a current estimation of the staffing needs of now and in the future. So may mga HR managers that they prepare an inventory. Ito yung nire-review yung mga resume ng mga current employees, their educational level, ano yung ability nila, no? So ito yung magiging guide na HR manager, mabivisualize na nila kung ano yung kayang gawin ng kanilang current employees, no? So from there, doon sila makakaisip kung anong klase ng mga qualifications na pwede nilang ma-impose. Okay, so ayan. And then, HR managers will also look closely at all the job components and will analyze its job. So, yung job analysis. Now, by doing this, yun nga, nasabi ko kanina, they can get a better picture of what kinds of skills are needed to perform a job successfully. Okay, so, pag nagawa na ni HR yun, assessment na yun, no, and that's the time she can now start recruiting. Yan, so recruit. Okay. So knowing how many people to hire, what skills they should possess, and hiring when the time is right are major challenges in the area of recruiting. No? So hiring individuals who have not only the skills but also the attitude, no, yung personality. Kaya nga pagdating sa mga interview, ina-assess na kagad kayo doon at meron tayong mga personality test. Okay, so yung mga HR depende sa kung ano available na resources at the moment, and so, depende sa type ng trabaho na hinahanap, they might place traditional advertisement on the web or use social media. So ngayon very very nagiging common na yan, ano, yung paggamit ng social media. And yung iba gumagamit sila ng refer, no? Pag nakapag-refer ka, for example, you are working in the company and you refer your friend, no, if nakapasa yung friend mo na yun, meron kang bonus or incentive. Okay, sa mga BPO company, yan, very din yan, ginagamit din yung ganyan strategy. Okay, and of course, you have to ensure as an HR that recruiting process should be fair and should be considered yung diversity. Okay, so meron din mga company na kumukuha sila ng service ng mga agency, ng mga third party arm nila or mga partners nila para maghanap ng tao para sa kanila. So yung mga headhunters, ito yung nagre-recruit ng people on a high level position naman. Ito, ang tawag doon is mga headhunters. So, sila yung nag-specialize in matching jobs with people. So, usually, high-level position lang to, no? So, yung mga malalaking company class, no, they are, yung mga multinational company, they usually hire the tawag dito, the service of an agency, no, they use that, no? Kasi mas tipid yun, ano? So, lalo na pag mga temporary positions na. Pero, they can also naman, hire, but usually pag mga project based lang, pero pag mga permanent na, pwede na nilang i-hire directly sa kanilang company. So minsan yung mga nakikita natin na naka-project based, no, yung mga contractual, ito yung minsan nagtatrabaho sa mga supermarket, no, or yung mga may mga bagong ini-introduce sa product or bagong may project ang isang company na kailangan nila mag-hire ng mga temporary employees. So, dyan nila ginagamit ang agency. Okay, so syempre sa mga company na to, mas tipid nga naman. Kasi nga naman, pag hinire sila ng direct, sasagutin pa nila yung yung mga benefits, no, katulad ng mga naka-hire sa kanila directly. So ito paggamit ng agency, mas mas tipid dahil pag project based. And 3, select. Okay, after viewing and reviewing resumes, it is now the time to work toward selecting the right person for the job. Okay, so dito, kailangan talaga maingat ka kasi magastos talaga mag-hire. Okay, it might sound exaggerated, but totoo naman yun. Kasi pag ikaw ay tumawag na ng aplikante, syempre, yung oras mo, pag-review na resume, yung oras mo sa pag-i-interview, tapos pagka malayo yung applicant, so ikaw yung sasagot, ng company yung sasagot ng kanyang travel expense. Kasi yung pati accommodation, halimbawa, pag galing na Cebu, so ang sasagot ang pamasahe nung applicant, pati yung titirhan niya ay company. And yun din, relocation, no, pag yung mga willing to be relocated na employees or na applicant, sila rin yung sasagot nun. And also yan, mga bookkeeping, payroll, inaasikaso nila, record keeping ng mga forms like BIR, SSS, PhilHealth, no, lahat yung sasagutin ng company. At trabaho ng HR. At syempre, yung oras ng HR ay nasasayang. So, pag ang isang newly hired employee, yung bago pa lang ay umalis, syempre, sayang yung effort at gumastos na yung company sa applicant. Okay, so kaya kailangan as an HR, you have to do it right in the first step. Okay, so you have to review the resumes carefully, and you have to look for these people who closely match the right skills and they are selected for interview. So iba naman ang ginagawa nila class, no, para mas makatipid, no, para mas ma-ensure nila na tama yung taong pipiliin nila. Ini-interview muna nila over the phone, no, yan, sa telepono muna, and then from there, doon nila mas masasala or matitrim down kung tama ba yung tao na yon, no. Pag pumasa ka, edi punta ka sa next stage. Pag hindi ka pumasa, edi wala, no, babay na, no. So yung mga matataas na position, ito yung minsan umaabot ng mga buwan. Pag mataas na position ina-apply mo, maabot usually ng 8 weeks or months bago ka ulit tawagan, kasi or yan, mga series ng mga testing, background checking, bago ka ma-hire, no. So, maabot mo na ng buwan, no. Ayan. Then, of course, after na conduct na lahat, pati background check, pasado ka na lahat, na-meet na lahat ng criteria, then, the HR manager will offer the selected person the position. Okay, at this point, yan na i-discuss yung salary, benefits, and vacation time. Everything can be negotiated, especially if that is a higher position. And then for determine compensation. Ayan yung mga pay system natin, no. Dapat dinidevelop ang pay system para mag-motivate ng employees, no. And of course, to embody fairness to everyone working in the organization. Okay? However, may mga organization na hindi nila kayang i-offer lahat because of the budget constraints. No, yung pag-determine ng compensation, it should be like a balancing act. The compensation should be high enough to motivate current employees and attract new ones, but not so high that it breaks the budget. So, kaya inaalam pa lang sa simula, nagpo-forecast pa lang na kung kamusta na yung current situation ng company, kung ano ba yung forecasted sales next year, para at least tuloy-tuloy at smooth. Pagdating sa compensation, alam mo kung magkano yung ipapasando. And then, develop training. Di sa training, pag okay na, no, nakapag-recruit na ng tao, na-select na sila, no, na-discuss na yung compensation and benefits, syempre, we want to make sure that our new employees, newly hired employees, are successful once they're deployed in the field or in their respective jobs. syempre, ang company culture, ayan. So, ini-introduce mo na, no? This is an organization's way of doing things. No, kada kumpanya may kanya-kanyang kultura. Kaya nga, in-orient muna sila, no? Kung anong klase ng culture meron sa company, kung paano ba yung rules, no? So, ang mga topics diyan usually yung mga request time off, kung paano, yung mga dress codes nila and other processes. And ano ba yung merong atmosphere, klase ng atmosphere meron sa kanila, no? So, yan, sa orientation, discuss yan. And then, pag na-orient na about the company culture, pupunta na kayo ngayon. Syempre, sa company culture, parang ano muna yung employee. Syempre, ano pa yun, parang kinakabahan, awkward pa yung pakaramdam. Parang, ano muna, no? Parang, ano na sila dito, pampaalis ng kaba, no? At least, kahit paano confident na yung mga newly hired employees sa mga susunod na araw ng training. Next, yung skills. So, ito napapasok na yung product knowledge, no? Depende sa kung ano yung hawakan ng product, kung ano yung trabaho. Kung machine, ititrain ka kung paano gamitin yung machine. Kung product naman, ititrain ka sa features and benefits of product, no? Depende kung anong klase ng skill yung kailangan mo. Ayan, pag sa sales, paano ka magbebenta? Sales skill, no? Salesmanship, paano mo gagawin yun, ano? Ayan. And human relations skills, these are non-job specific skills your employees need not only to do their jobs but also to make them all around successful employees. Skills needed include communication skills and interviewing potential employees. And then, syempre, yan, no? Pag nag-stay na yung employee na yon, like for 6 months na, naka 6 months na siya, that's the time you have to perform the performance appraisal. So, when you say performance appraisal, it is a method by which a job performance is measured. So, it can also be called employee appraisal, performance review, 360 review, and career development review. Yan. So, yun ka. So, sa performance appraisal, merong inuupuan ng HR at ng employee na yon, and then i-evaluate. Minsan, hindi lang HR, kundi yung mga managers, no? I-evaluate ka nila, o talaga i-appraise na kita, no? Titingnan nila doon kung na-achieve mo ba yung hinihingi kumbaga sa grade, nakapasa ka ba sa loob ng 6 na buwan sa ganitong klase ng mga aspeto, sa sales, na-achieve mo ba yung sales, meron ka bang nakuhang benta, tapos yung relationship with your coworkers, gano'n. So, ganun yung mga, depende kung ano yung hihingin na kung paano yung pag-measure ng company where you work. Okay, so sige class, thank you for listening. I'll post an example of an awkward performance appraisal. And see you on the next video.